Salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. It's an awesome honor and a privilege to have you guys joining me here today. And this is, of course, our Deadpool 2 open spoiler discussion, just talking about Deadpool 2, your funniest moments, your favorite moments, the parts you didn't like so much, what questions you have coming out of it, the little Easter eggs that maybe you caught that perhaps nobody else did. This is the place that we're going to talk about all that kind of stuff. And I'm not doing it alone. Joining me for this open spoiler discussion is, of course, my wife, Ann Campea. Ann, how you doing?
Hi, Wade.
Hi, Wade. So we are here to talk about all that kind of stuff. So I saw it. I've seen it 3 times now. Ann, you've seen it
2 times.
2 times. The second time was the other night.
Yep.
Saw it with your brother and with Matt, our friend. And I'm sure hopefully most of you guys here have seen it already now. Just in case the title didn't give it away. This is a spoiler discussion, folks. Spoiler. So if you have not seen this movie yet, it's time for you to go. Because we're going to go into all of it and all of its glorious detail and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to fly through these comments here. We're going to try to keep this to about an hour or so, and we'll see how well we do. So let's dive right into it. And we're going to start off with the first question today. The first comment comes to us from Caleb Bradford, who writes, "Did you notice they played the same music in Deadpool's death scene as Logan's death scene? Did you notice that?"
No, but I saw it on Twitter. Somebody had called it out to Ryan Reynolds today, and I was like, there were so many Easter eggs like that I did not pick up.
I had no idea. I never even heard of that.
Yeah.
I had never even heard of that. So, no, I did not notice it.
Awesome, though.
And that's one of the great things about doing these spoiler discussions is people like you, Caleb, pick up on stuff like that. And by the way, is that true? Is that real? I mean,
yeah, it is.
So you saw that on Twitter?
Yep. Ryan Reynolds confirmed. Yep.
See, and that's yet another little thing that just kind of slipped by. All right, next thing up is Jake C., who writes, "The first class cast are immortal. Prove me wrong. I have no idea what you're talking about, Jake."
Is it the X-Men that were in the room? Is that what you're talking about? That's what I think.
Because I think the Beast, I think that was wasn't that the Kelsey Grammer Beast?
No, I thought it was the Nicholas Hoult one.
Did you? See,
yeah,
I thought it was
he looked younger.
Okay, I thought it was the Kelsey Grammer one, but maybe I have to look a little bit closer at that.
Right.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one here. The next one comes to us from Caleb Bradford, who writes, "Also, I found it funny how Peter was the only X-Force member that Deadpool brought back."
Yeah. I was like, what about Terry Crews?
Because you love Terry Crews.
Yeah. Or even, what's his name? Pennywise.
Oh,
the vomit guy.
Zeitgeist.
Yeah.
Zeitgeist. I interpreted that as he could only stop at one moment to only save one of them. There's only one of them he could have saved because he only had so many charges in the time device, so he decided to save Peter because he's the one we had to bring back, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on here. Patrick Conway writes, "I was thinking you can swap S.H.I.E.L.D. into film." I have no idea what you're talking about, Patrick. So Ben Rayner writes, "The way they used Vanessa reminded me of how they used Jean in The Wolverine. Do you think they meant to do that, or is it just coincidence?" I thought it was just coincidence.
Me too. I think it was just coincidence.
I mean, the way they used her in this movie was exactly for what they needed in the narrative. I don't think it had any kind of a play on anything else like that. Did you?
I agree. It was just advancing the story. That was it.
All right, let's move on. Ben Rayner writes, "Really Hugh, or was it reused footage? Hope it's real." Or if you talk about the post-credit scene, that was reused footage. Because that was clearly a younger Hugh Jackman, and it's the exact same line. Like, they didn't ad-lib anything. It was, "Wade, is that you?" I mean, that's the line from the movie. "Wade, is that you? I see Stryker finally found a way to shut you up." So, did you at any moment think it was, like, actually Hugh Jackman and they're doing something new?
I only thought maybe new because, leading up to the movie release, Hugh Jackman and Ryan were together a lot. So I thought maybe they were shooting something for the film. But yeah, it looked like it was just a reuse of the original footage.
Ben Rayner writes, this is one of the things that I loved about this movie, and that what they did in the first one too, using the opening credits. So Ben Rayner writes, from one of the directors responsible for killing John Wick's dog, which is, of course, directed by David Leitch, who is, of course, one of the 2 directors of the first couple of John Wick films. Brilliant. And you know what, the one that I like the most, I mean, that one was funny. I laughed myself sick the first time I saw it and it said that. My favorite one was cinematography by Blind Owl.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one of those. But then they used the whole thing like produced by, wait a minute, did they just kill her?
Yeah.
Like using that all as narrative stuff. What was your favorite one of those like opening credit things?
Same thing. The thing about Blind Owl, I was like, that's fucking hilarious. I just love how they utilize every space of the film to get Deadpool's like character across, you know?
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. Cameron Belgrade writes, love the movie, but definitely wanted more Cable. I mean, yeah, but to me, the amount they use Cable, I mean, Cable was great, and I would have loved to have seen more Cable for sure. But the reality is, they use Cable as much as the story needed. So, like, all the parts that they needed Cable for, I feel like they did. Like, I never felt at any time they shortchanged Cable, or it's like, oh my gosh, the movie doesn't feel fleshed out because they didn't do this with Cable. Like, I kind of felt like they used him enough. But leaving you wanting more, like the character's so good you wanted more, that's great. But I think they used him as much as they needed. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I think Cable had enough screen time for us to be like, wow, this dude is badass, and Josh Brolin just looks amazing in that character. But I think it was, like you said, I think it was the perfect split of time between all of the characters. If we're gonna bring up who I wanted to see more of, I would say Negasonic.
Teenage Warhead?
Yeah.
Her and
her
Yukio.
Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah.
Highway!
Yeah.
I mean, that running joke never got tired for me. By the way, can we talk for a second, not just how great, I mean, Josh Brolin clearly got himself in great shape for the movie. Mm-hmm. The look, like when he's standing there in the mirror checking on the advancement of the techno-organic virus, that's why, for those of you who didn't know, that's why he's partly metal. I thought it looked great.
Agreed. I thought it just was a part of him. And I think the CG just in general in this film impressed me. There was maybe one clip of Domino where I thought, oh, that looks a little off, but everything else, the CG of Cable and the CG of Juggernaut and everything looked amazing.
I mean, coming off of Avengers Infinity War and how good Thanos looked, did Juggernaut look anywhere near as good as Thanos? No. But, I mean, I thought for their purposes, for a movie whose reported budget was only $110 million, I thought they did pretty good, to be honest. The fact that they even had a full CGI fight in that was kind of crazy. All right. Caleb Bradford writes, after watching the movie, would you like to see a Cable standalone movie? Maybe a prequel of some sorts? You know me, guys. I'm not big into prequels. But John, it would be in the future. Okay, yeah, I get that. But I'm not really big into future, but maybe, like, they're pretty vague about what Cable is in the movies. They're pretty vague about it because, you know, they're in Dopinder's cab and Deadpool says to him, so what are you in the future? Some kind of soldier? And he says, something like that. I mean, so, yeah, maybe it would be interesting, but I'll be honest with you, I'm much more interested in an X-Force film at this point than I would be about a Cable standalone film. Plus, I really want to see Cable and Domino together. Like, because that's what I loved out of the comics. I loved Cable and Domino together. And this movie put them together. If we're going to do a Cable movie, I'd rather see a Cable with Domino. So give me X-Force. Oh, do you have any desire to see a standalone Cable, or do you think there's something they can do with it?
I mean, maybe. I could kind of see like a Terminator type tone taken if they did do a standalone. But no, I think I'm with you. I'd rather see the entire group back together again.
All right. Let's go on here. Kyle B. writes, instead of the X-Force making cool superhero landings like other comic movies, they all ended up crashing, turning superhero cliches on its head. I'm telling you what they did, I think maybe the smartest, gutsiest, bold thing they did with this movie was what they did with X-Force. And here's why. Because I have never seen... Let me back that up a bit. We've seen lots of movies use their marketing to reveal gags in a movie and spoil gags in a movie to market the film. Fine. What I have never seen, at least not done like this, is where a movie specifically uses their marketing all to set up a gag that's going to happen in the movie. They literally use their marketing campaign to set up that gag of all of X-Force dying, because they show you so much of X-Force in the marketing, and it was all to set up a gag in the movie. I cannot recall ever a movie using its marketing in such a way to set up a gag in the film as opposed to spoiling or revealing a gag in the film. And that to me killed me, because when they all started dying, I did not see that coming. Because I thought, okay, X-Force is here now. They're going to be a significant part of this movie moving forward. And nope, they all die. And it killed me the way they handled that. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I did not expect that whatsoever. And I thought it was the perfect tone, exactly what should have happened. I mean, they kept talking about high winds and wind advisory, so I just love that they went there with that, because I feel like in every superhero or comic book movie, things just kind of happen, and they're so lucky that they just happen exactly the way that they should, right? And so it's nice that they kind of put that spin, like it's not at all what I expected, which was perfect.
And one of the gags in the movie that I missed the first time I saw, because everybody else was laughing too hard, was after everybody dies and Deadpool gets on the scooter, he says, "Who would have known the winds would be so high?" Yeah. And then you hear Domino saying, Everyone on the helicopter and everyone not on the helicopter knew about it. I mean, that's the thing. There are so many jokes in this movie that you have to see it multiple times if you have any hope of catching them all. It's kind of crazy that way. Kyle B writes, and bringing his girlfriend back at the end was annoying. You know what? The first thing, I watched the movie the first time. Then I waited until I saw it with Ann. And the first thing I remember asking you, Ann, is, do you actually think they really did bring her back? Or was that just a post-credit scene gag? Or do you think we're going to go into X-Force in the next Deadpool movie and actually have Vanessa back? Do you think she's actually back?
I think she's back. And the reason why is I think the first thing Wade Wilson would do if he could reverse time or take things back is bring Vanessa back. So it totally just makes sense for him, for that character to have done that. I don't have an issue with her coming back. I don't think she's going to be a part of X-Force or anything. I think that she's a key driver for what motivates Wade. So I think it makes sense for her to be back.
Yeah, the one thing to me that makes it cheap was if Cable from the future says this device, he's from the future, I only have 2 chargers, one to get me here, one to get me back. Then a teenage girl, I don't care how smart she is, from this present era, Negasonic, can't just grab a screwdriver and go, oh, I'll just make it work again if Cable couldn't make it work, and just boom, like that. That's a little bit cheap, but we are talking about Deadpool after all. All right. Next question here comes to us from Nick Smith, who writes, and stop watching Legion without John.
Oh, but that's not true.
It was true. I remember that one time I walked into the bathroom and you're sitting there at your makeup table with your phone out, and I'm like, what are you watching, honey?
Yeah, but since
I'm
that
watching
day,
Legion.
I have not watched it without him. I'm actually behind, I think, 2 or 3 episodes now because we just haven't had time to sit down and watch it.
Yes,
or maybe you have.
It has not happened since that day. I did watch one episode without you just because I thought you had already watched that one. That's why I watched it to catch up. But I'm not caught up yet. Thank you so much, Nick. You are causing marital problems live and on camera. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. The next thing comes to us from Koba. Koba writes, Dopinder became my favorite character in the end. Oh my God, Dopinder. Now, if you guys watched me talk about the first Deadpool at all, you know how much I love Dopinder. I love that character. And the way they used him in the second one, my favorite moment is when they're in the cabin, they're going off, and Deadpool's kind of talking about his plan. Dopinder turns to him and says, I will bathe in the blood of your enemies. And Deadpool just dead stare, silence. I just loved everything. And it was so poetically proper that he actually takes out the guy at the end. So, I mean, I adored Dopinder in this. And thoughts on Dopinder in the movie?
Same. I love that character. I love their chemistry in the first one. I'm glad that he's back, and he's like one of the first characters that you see in the movie. And my favorite line was when they asked him what his superpower would be, and he said courage.
But it wasn't just courage. It was the pause, smile, courage. And the other great moment for Dopinder in the movie is when they're interviewing Peter. And Peter goes, no superpowers. Yeah. And Deadpool goes, you're in. He throws this thing down and it freaks out. Oh my God, I love that moment. That moment was so good.
Yeah, they used them perfectly.
Okay, next one comes to us from Jonathan C. And Jonathan C. writes, how does the X-Men cameo make sense if their movie is set in the 90s, they didn't age after 20 years. It's a Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
It's Fox. It's continuity schmontinuity. None of it really matters. There is no continuity. It was just a great little visual gag. It wasn't supposed to make sense. Nothing in the X-Men movies ever have any proper continuity or ever stick to continuity, so it doesn't really matter. It was just a great little visual gag. I don't think it was supposed to mean anything more than beyond that, was it?
No, I don't think so. And I love that Wade was riding around in Professor X's wheelchair as well.
God, so good.
But I think it ties back to the first one where, it was obvious that they couldn't get, or at least I thought they couldn't get any of the actual X-Men in the house when he was there in the first movie.
Right, which was a great
So it's
gag.
kind of like a throwback to the first movie. And now actually they got people from the movie in this one, or from the X-Men movie in this movie, which is great.
Another great gag is in that scene that, again, I missed the first time I saw it. It's when he's driving around on the thing and he knocks a statue over and everybody's laughing. So I missed the line that he says, that was already broken when it fell there.
Yeah.
Which I thought was so good. Okay. Dim Sum 05 writes, and thank you. I'm surprised you're the first person to bring this up, Dim Sum. Oh, no, sorry. Ike Moore, I should say. Ike Moore writes, do we get a Deadpool 3 to close out the trilogy? I mean, who knows? Look, right now it's all about, does Comcast get Fox? Does Disney get Fox? Does anybody get Fox? I mean, right now we're just kind of in a wait and see. Now, Fox continues to move ahead, acting business as usual, planning their movies, producing their movies. Or even, look, we talked on the John Campea show the other day that it looks like they're going to start moving forward on a Gambit movie with Channing Tatum. And they just, look, we cannot rest on anything. We have to just keep moving forward, business as usual. However, we know that the next thing they're going to work on is X-Force before a Deadpool 3. So whether we'll ever get a Deadpool 3 is going to completely be reliant on, does the Disney and Fox deal go through? Does it not go through? If it doesn't go through, does somebody else get it? If nobody else gets it, does it just stay with Fox? Does Fox then sell itself off piece by piece? I mean, it's impossible to say at this point until we know what happens. I mean, obviously, it just opened to 125 million opening weekend. It's the second biggest opening for an R-rated film in history. They'd love to do a third one. We just got to wait and see how the business end of things works out. All right, now we move on to Dim Sum with the question I'm surprised a point nobody else brought up. The 007 intro with Celine Dion's Ashes. Perfect. It was great. It was so good to go with the whole subtitling over the titles and all that kind of stuff. I just loved it. What did you think?
And after such a intense, first scene, like I felt like
with
it was
Vanessa dying.
Yeah, it was like a perfect way to kind of reset the tone to start the rest of the film. And so brilliant every time that they do these opening credit things.
All right, Ben Rayner writes, "You're welcome, Canada." It was really nice to see. Now, there was, in the first Deadpool movie, there was the one reference to Deadpool being Canadian, which was when he's about to punt the dude's head and he says, Wade Wilson from Regina, Saskatchewan. It's like, okay, there's your Canadian reference. But there was a lot more Canadian references, whether it's his flag on the wall or whether it was... I love the TJ Miller, like, when Deadpool's basically saying, I would love to live amongst a group of people that all of them are just, like, slobberers, so
Yes.
I can be like their king. Isn't that Canada? You shut your filthy whore mouth. It was a great scene. Then you're welcome, Canada. So obviously, as a Canadian, I love seeing that stuff. That was great. Let's see. Curtis Lopez writes, I was so relieved when Vanessa was brought back in the end. Her character is my ideal image of a personal significant other. You know, it's funny because on the John Campea show earlier today, or on Open Mic, I should say, I was talking about how, basically speaking, romance relationships in comic book movies do not work for me. Out of the dozens there have been, 3 of them actually work for me. Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone as Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man. Robert Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper and Tony. That one works for me. But I think the one that's worked best, that I've never felt a better chemistry for in a comic book movie, was Wade and Vanessa. It's simply the best. Now, just to get back to what we were saying before, I don't know if she's actually back. Like, I don't know if that movie is saying Vanessa is back and is alive, or whether it was all just a gag, like just for the sake of the gag, right? I don't know. I think she's back, but I don't know for sure. But Anne, when we're talking about relationships that do work or don't work in comic book movies, where does Wade and Vanessa rank for you? And does it work for you at all?
No, I think it's number one. I think she, like he's saying, is the ideal. She's compatible with Wade in every way. She compliments him. She is supportive of him, you know, in his struggle as Wade Wilson with cancer, but also in his other life as Deadpool. It's just the perfect pairing. I love the relationship. I think it's number one for me.
It's kind of like you with me.
Yes. I'm your number one fan.
That's not true. Okay. We move on. Curtis Lopez follows up with, what I love about the movie is there's no real villain. They just have to stop this kid from going down the right path. I think you mean they need to stop the kid from going down the wrong path. No, there's definitely villains in the film, whether you're talking about small level in a certain spot like the drug dealer, whether you're talking about Black Tom Cassidy in the prison, whether you're talking about the dude from, what's Liev Schreiber's show's name? He's got the show on Showtime right now. I can't remember the name
Donovan?
of it. What's that? Ray Donovan. Yeah. Thank you. The dude from Ray Donovan is the head of the Essex School for Mutant Children. Mm-hmm. He was definitely a villain. Juggernaut is clearly a villain. I mean, there's plenty of antagonists to go around, but it's all there to serve the story of Wade finding something bigger to belong to. A bigger family to belong to, a bigger purpose to belong to. And I think that was really the so all the villains, there were definitely villains, but the villains were there to serve that part of the thing. If you had to say who the main antagonist, the main villain of the film would be, who would you say it is off the top of your head?
I don't know. And they kind of try to spin it as if Wade himself or Deadpool is a villain to himself in some respect, right?
And of course, they tried to make Josh Brolin like
Cable was going after
part
them.
Of it. Yeah,
I don't know that there was one main one, and I'm okay with that. I actually like that they mixed it up throughout the movie.
All right, Curtis follows up, says, I meant the wrong path. Don't worry, Curtis, we caught what you meant. Thunder Knight 19 writes, I may have missed it, but is there an explanation as to why Colossus only appears in his metal form in the Deadpool movies? No, my assumption is that's just what he is in the movies. Mm-hmm. I know in the comics he can go back and forth, but and in the other X-Men films, other iterations of Colossus could go back and forth from turning on the steel. My assumption is just that this Colossus, that's what he is. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could be wrong, but it seems like that's what he is, because he's far bigger than a normal human. And that's not how big Colossus is, per se. So I've always just assumed he's just that. And you know what? When Wade shows up at the mansion with the boombox playing Peter Gabriel, trying to appeal to him, why would he just be laying around in bed in his metal form? So my assumption, maybe you guys think differently, but my assumption is that that's just his form. Right. That's always his form in the movie. I'm guessing. Okay, let's go on here. Darth Wayne 97 writes, R.I.P. Black Tom Cassidy. Who knew Cable was racist all along? Damn you, Cable. P.S. Brad Pitt revealed as Vanisher was genius. I laughed so hard when his face appeared, and I had to turn to some people because I was like, wait, that was Brad Pitt, wasn't it? Like, did they actually put Brad Pitt? But I mean, there's so many cameos in this. Like, when Cable shows up in our era and those two rednecks are at the pickup truck, I saw the movie the first time, I had no idea that was somebody. So Anne turns to me and says, that's Alan Tudyk and Simon Pegg. And I instantly recognized Alan Tudyk. It's like, oh yeah, that is Alan Tudyk. But the other guy, I'm like, that's Simon Pegg? And I looked. But you read that somewhere, right? That it was Simon Pegg?
I thought I had seen Simon Pegg's name come across in the cast the first time we had seen it, but maybe he's someone else in the movie.
But anyway, what we then later found out is that, that's actually Matt Damon. Matt Damon, who's now making a sub-career out of playing these little bit roles. Like, he played Odin. Loki.
Or Loki, yeah.
He played Loki in Thor Ragnarok, right? And now he's playing this role, so he's doing that. So tons of great little cameos. It was really, really nice to see. But the running gag about the racism was so perfect, and they didn't overdo it too much, so that they ended it perfectly with Wade says, and Cable promised me one thing, that you'll start to judge people by the content of the character, not by the color of their skin. And Cable's thing is just, Jesus Christ. It was a great running gag in the movie. I love the way they did that. Let's see here. Thunder Knight 19 follows up. Really enjoyed the movie, though if I have a criticism, I feel the X-Force team was underused. How long was the team together? 5 minutes, if that? Yeah, but like I said, it was perfect. Like, it was setting up the perfect gag, because I don't think any of us saw that coming. And I really love what they did with it, because I'll be honest with you, I wasn't there to watch X-Force. I was there to see Deadpool and Cable. And I thought X-Force was going to be a bigger part of it, yes. But would I have sacrificed any of Cable's scenes or any of Colossus's scenes or any of Deadpool's scenes to make room for more of the X-Force stuff? No, I wouldn't have. No, I mean, they kept Domino around, which is perfect. Zazie Beetz was fantastic in it. I love the character. Completely unlike the character in the comic books, and that's perfectly fine, because I love the iteration they gave us. But yeah, I was fine with it. Like, how were you on that whole thing? Were you disappointed X-Force was gone, or do you think they could have used them more, or what do you think?
No, I wasn't disappointed at all. I guess I just didn't have any expectations to see that group together. I just wanted to see Deadpool. And then I was also excited to see, I think, how do you say her name? Zazie
Beetz, yeah.
Only because I'm a big fan of hers as Vanessa on Atlanta, and then to see her in this type of film was great. But I wasn't attached to the group at all. I loved the casting of them, but then when they all died, I wasn't like, oh, I was okay with it. I do want to see the version that they end up with. Like his new family,
what's
whatever
X-Force
you call that.
going to be? Yeah.
X-Force or whatever he calls that family, that new family he's with. That's the group I'm more invested in.
Well, Claire, so it's going to be him, Cable, Domino,
Russell,
Colossus.
Whether
Russell's in there or whether he's too young and they should know now he's at the X Mansion or something like that.
Right.
So what other pieces they add to it, we'll have to wait and find out. All right. Daryl Best Wadley writes, Deadpool really had the cure for blindness. Amazing. So a lot of people miss this. So remember in the first film, when Deadpool's about to leave Blind Al, he says, somewhere in this house is 2 pounds of cocaine and the cure for blindness. Which is just a great funny gag. But then he comes back in Deadpool 2, opens up the floorboard, there's all this cocaine in a little box, and I think a lot of people missed it, labeled cure for blindness. Which, obviously, I don't think it's the real cure for blindness, but that was a nice, funny callback. Did you catch that when you watched it the first time?
Yeah, I just like how they don't lose sight of a lot of the stuff that was funny in the first one. They don't lose sight about like bringing it back in this new movie. It's great. And Blind Owl. Nobody has talked about Blind Owl yet, but she's my favorite character, so I'm glad that she's back in this movie too.
One of the funniest lines in the movie is, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you with that pity dick in your mouth. Yeah. I mean, it was so fun. But one of the things they do great is they don't redo jokes from the first one. They follow up on jokes from the first one.
Yeah.
Whether it's the cure for blindness line, or we were just talking about one a minute ago. Which one we were talking a minute ago that followed up from something in the first film? Whatever it was. But they followed up on jokes from the first one without just repeating jokes from the first one. And I thought that was pretty clever. Let's see. Dakota Barber writes, loved how this movie had more emotion to it than you might think. The scene that got my audience was when Wade sacrifices himself to save Russell. Oh, for me, it was that opening scene with Vanessa. Because I don't think anybody saw that coming. Like, if you guys watch my show, you know I predicted Vanessa would die in this movie. I didn't see her dying in the first scene. Like, I didn't see that happening at all. And I could feel the air. All 3 times I saw the movie, I could feel the air come out of the theater a little bit when she gets shot. Which then set up perfectly the visual gag of produced by, wait a minute, did they just kill her? Which I thought was so good. What to you was some of the more emotional parts of the film that you think worked on an emotional level?
Yeah, I thought there was a lot. So I would say that scene, definitely, that very first scene where Vanessa dies. I think there's also something that ties up that scene at the end that's pretty emotional, where he hugs the killer and then circles, and then they get hit by the car.
The pain on his face as he hugs him like a Godfather kind of hug, and just throws them both in front of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was brilliant. I mean, and that was just the first scene. And then there's a really nice moment between Blind Al, who says, you know, like, I heard what happened. You know, and they have a little speech about that too. I thought that was touching. All the scenes where he has to try to come see Vanessa and he can't for whatever reason, like, those are pretty emotional too. What else? I think when Colossus also saves him, after getting shot in the head.
And
that's also a very sweet moment to me. Like, oh, you came for me.
Yeah, and no, it was great. And one of the things they do so well in these movies is take those emotional things but add humor to it. And the humor just adds to it. It doesn't replace it. Because you're right, when Deadpool opens his eyes and he realizes Colossus came... First of all, can we just say this? The best man in these Deadpool films is Colossus. He is just the best person. Because he shows up there after the way Wade has screwed him over, constantly berates him and insults him. He's there and he says, I'm not giving up on you and you're not giving up on that boy. And he goes in to fight the juggernaut for Wade. And it's a great move, but they layer humor on top of it, and the humor doesn't undermine the emotional part of it. It just added to it for me. So you're right. I never would have thought of that scene off the top of my head but you're right. When he opens his eyes and Colossus showed up, it's like, Colossus is the best.
Yeah.
I could totally watch a standalone Colossus movie. Just Colossus and Negasonic and Yukio. I could watch a movie, the three of them. I'd be totally happy. All right, let's see. Dakota Barber writes, the X-Force scene with the high winds, though. I mean, you knew something was wrong when Deadpool lands on the billboard. It looks up and they're all flapping all over the place in the high winds warning. I mean, it's, again, just setting up that joke later. Who would have known the high winds would have affected everything? Everybody. Everybody knew. I love that part. Daryl Best Wadley writes, Wade reset the timeline. Does that mean Vanessa is alive? I thought killing her was stupid since the whole first movie was dedicated to their love. I think the whole first movie was not about their love. It is a love movie, really, in a twisted sort of way. But it's the motivating factor for Wade. In which case, them using her death, again as a motivating factor for Wade, I think is quite valid and a really cool thing. Whether she's actually alive again or not, again, this is going to be a question that comes up again and again and again. Somebody just tweet Ryan Reynolds. Somebody tweet Reynolds. Just say, wait a minute. Well, he may not want to answer publicly because it would be a spoiler. So I guess you got to be careful. But I think if we ever get a chance to just publicly ask Ryan Reynolds, just ask him, is Vanessa actually alive? Or is she dead? Because I have no idea at this point. I think she's alive, but I just don't know for sure. Dakota Barber writes, just cleaning up the timeline. Oh my goodness. The theater each time when he does the time jump and the camera starts at the feet and you don't know what you're looking at and it pans up and you see pants and then you see the bare body with the markings on it that Deadpool had in that Wolverine movie. Everybody lost their mind. And then the gunshot to the head and then he's just standing over him. Bang, 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 just keeps repeatedly shooting him. And then you knew here's the funny thing. You knew they were going to do a Green Lantern gag. Like you knew they were going to do it. And it still is hilarious when it happens. Like you probably expected that. Or did you not expect that?
No, I didn't expect anything that we saw after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, post-credits or mid-credits or whatever. But I thought it was awesome. I thought it was so good. And he actually looked the way he did when he was cast as Green Lantern. Like, I feel like they made him look like that age that he was in the movie. And
the funny thing is, he's sitting there. It's like, you're in the big time now, kid. That probably was exactly what he was thinking at the time.
Yep.
Like comic book movies, remember, going back a few years now, but comic book movies were starting to become the big thing. Yeah. He lands this big, iconic superhero role, Green Lantern. And he's probably thought exactly that. This is the big time. This is everything. And then he shoots himself, and then he just says, "You're welcome, Canada."
Well, isn't the best thing that came out of that movie wasn't that where he met his now wife?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Blake Lively?
Blake Lively, yeah. I think that's where they met.
Aside from that, yeah, you could get rid of it. It's rare that you can fail at a comic book movie and then come back and do this, which is like redemption for some, like it's rare that you can do that.
Chris Evans in Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Comes and does Captain America.
Yeah, and like it's totally erased from everyone's memory, and now that he's completely erased it with this end credit scene too.
Yeah. Okay, let's try that. Gabe Campbell writes, "We're definitely naming our kids Cher. Perfect song. If I could turn."
I've been singing it every day since we've seen the movie.
She's not lying, by the way. She's not lying.
Love that song.
Like I wake up in the morning and hear. It's like, there she goes.
Yeah, it's so good.
Loving that Cher song.
Between that and the Celine song. It's so good. Both of them.
I mean, can we talk for a second about how good that... Okay, forget about how comedically it works. Ashes? Actually, Ann and I were in the bathroom, and we've got a Google Home Mini in the bathroom. I just went, hey, Google, play Ashes by Celine Dion.
Good.
It's just such a good song.
I mean, she's just an amazing artist, but it just works well with the movie, too. I was surprised that they would have a Celine Dion song.
Well, she is Canadian.
I know. It made sense. Like, I was surprised, but it just makes sense.
You know what's funny is that somebody had asked me on one of my shows, do you think Ashes could be nominated for Best Song? And I remember at the time I said, look, it's far too early for us to even talk. It's far too early. There could be 50 other songs that come out that are better than it. We it's possible. But honestly, if the Oscars were held next week, yes.
Yeah.
It is an Oscar caliber song.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic piece of music. All right. Let's see. Maximum effort. 44T writes, over under 15%. The Vanessa is Mistress Death. I'm going to take the way under on that. Dakota Barber writes, me and a friend at church agreed that Cable was used very well. The whole thing of him wanting to save his family from Russell got me invested emotionally. And yeah, that was it. They needed to come up with a way that makes Cable look like the villain at first, and then you realize he's a hero at the end. And the whole thing about him coming back to try to stop the kid who kills his family. And it's a horrific piece of imagery. When he's kneeling down and his wife and daughter are these charred remains. It's a powerful piece of imagery. And I agree. I completely like the way they used him. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, and I just thought of something right now is that, when he goes back to save Wade at the end, when Cable goes back and rewinds time, the line changes slightly. When Deadpool asks him, what is that teddy bear? And he says, the first time he says, it has the blood of my dead daughter on it.
Yeah, he's like, what's with the charred up freaky teddy bear? He goes, that's not whatever. It's the blood of my dead daughter.
Right.
Yeah,
and then in the second instance, it's not the same line.
Yeah.
It's actually
it's
a little
my daughter's teddy bear.
Yeah. The tone is different because I think he knows that they're going to be okay.
And another line that a lot of people missed is the first time around when he says, what's with the creepy pedophile blood of his daughter? And he's like, that's the blood of my dead daughter. And then Wade says something like, I'm glucose intolerant. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then there's a pause. He goes, I just wish I could take that all back. It's just a really great line.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. Corboko writes, Yukio had cool powers. Bring her back for X-Force.
I know.
I'm not even really clear what her powers were, but I want her more in X-Force. She's adorable.
She had some sort of not psychic ability.
It's like a kinetic energy ability of some sorts.
Yeah, it was cool.
It would almost remind me of like Gambit. Like the kinetic energy Gambit. But just I don't care how many times they did in the movie. Every time they went, hi Wade, and hi Yukio, I just laughed every single time. They could have done that 50 more times in the movie and never would have got tired for me.
I know, you laughed every single time.
I did. And we're watching the movie, and the first time Ann watched it, we walk out of the theater, one of the first things she says to me, when did the girl who plays Negasonic get hot? Because she looks beautiful in this one.
I mean, she was really cute in the first one, but wow, gorgeous. And then to have that pairing, such a cute couple.
They were a totally cute couple. Yeah. They're both beautiful. Okay, let's see. Gabe Campbell writes, what's your favorite action set piece of the movie? Mine is Colossus versus Juggernaut. I mean, because understanding how much I love Colossus. Like, Colossus is actually one of my favorite X-Men. For several different reasons. And I love the way they've used him in the movies. They just adore the way. So him rushing in there, him going toe-to-toe with Juggernaut was awesome. I loved that. But even the opening action sequences, as they're just showing Deadpool near the beginning of the movie, going through all the different gangs as he's just wiping people out, that was great. I like the Domino taking out the dudes, the orderlies in the school. That was really cool because it's not only showing how well she can fight, it showed her luck factor coming into it at the same time, which was awesome. So many good action scenes. I'm going to agree with you though and go with the Juggernaut Colossus fight. To me, that was the creme de la creme. What about you? Favorite action sequence of the movie?
I would take in that same scene, Deadpool is on top of Juggernaut and has both of his swords in his helmet. I love that.
Or at least he's trying to.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if he's trying to get them in his helmet, or like it wouldn't pierce him, or
yeah.
But yeah,
I did
that
like
was
that.
really cool.
That would make a cool sideshow.
That would make a great sideshow collectible. Hot toy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Daryl Best Wadley writes, Vanishing Man is Brad Pitt. Missed it the first time. Yeah, I caught it the first time. I couldn't. First of all, the whole Vanishing Man gag was hilarious. Like, first they did it in the casting, or in the recruiting phase, right? But then they're on the plane and he goes, you two Vanishing Man, and all you see is like straps of a parachute. And then as everybody's skydiving out, you just see the parachute going. I thought that was hilarious. That was very, very well played. Gabe Campbell writes, the best part of seeing it twice is seeing everyone's reaction to all of the X-Force dying, because let's be honest, nobody saw that coming. I kid you not. When I saw it without Ann the first time I saw it, because you couldn't join me.
Yeah, it was during work.
Oh, that's right. It was during work. That's right, because it was in the morning one day. So I took a buddy of mine instead. When I took Ann to see it with me the second time, it was her first time, my second time. As soon as that scene and they're on the plane, I wasn't even watching the screen anymore. I was watching Ann. I don't even know if she noticed me doing that, but I was just like totally watching you, watching for your reactions and all that kind of stuff. But it was funny.
It's so good.
Okay. Next one comes to us from Jay Bling, who writes, aside from Domino making herself lucky, only Peter had a successful landing. Also, Tyler Bates' score features the choir singing "Oh Holy Shitballs." I've not heard Ann say this. I think that was her favorite part of the movie.
What?
Juggernaut's theme song.
Oh, it's favorite song. Oh God, but there's
Holy
also Celine and Cher. But yes, yes.
Oh my God,
it's so good.
Like the song was playing for a few seconds. This big orchestral, powerful choir-sounding song, and then after it's already playing for a few seconds, I start going, "Wait a minute, what is that they're saying?"
You know what it reminds me of? Like South Park.
Yes.
South Park does a lot of those songs where it's like the lyrics pertain to what they're talking about. It's exactly that.
Okay, next one up comes to us from Dakota Barber, who writes, Cameo with the X-Men at the mansion killed me. I think that might have been my first time seeing it. That was my single biggest laugh. Was that, you get the real X-Men, and then change camera angles, slowly closing It wasn't just that they were there, it's the fact that they're like trying to stay away from them and they slowly close the door. That killed me. Jay Bling writes, exactly what we're talking about. Hawker Walks. I should say, I almost skipped Hawker's question here. Amazing scene at the end with Take On Me playing. That was a great version.
Yeah.
And talking about really nice emotional moments, that moment when he dies and he's standing there with Vanessa again, and that rendition of Take On Me playing, it was beautiful. Like in the midst of this like vulgar, irreverent comedy, it was a really nice moment, and that was a perfect song choice. Mm-hmm. What did you think about it?
No, I agree. I'm like getting teary just thinking about that scene. It's so good.
Jay Bling writes, which just kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, they really did a good job hiding Matt Damon. Yeah, I had no idea. I didn't even have any idea that was Alan Tudyk. And then when Ann pointed out, I'm like, oh, yeah, obviously that's Alan Tudyk. But the Matt Damon part, did not see that. Did not see that coming from a mile away. Dr. Hooligan writes, the surprises, cameos, nonstop laughs, and characters all made me wish the film never had to end, and the post-credit scenes left me feeling euphoric. Dude, I mean, it's all of that you just mentioned, Doctor, of why the first time I saw it, I said, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I like it more than the first one. And you guys all remember how much I love the first one. After seeing it 3 times, yeah, I do like it more than the first one. There are certain things the first one does better. There definitely are elements that the first one does better than the second one. But I think I enjoyed the second one even more. The pure number of laughs, really nice emotional spots. The music stuff was great. The action was incredible. I just really, really dig this movie. If you had to compare because I know you really like the first Deadpool, hence your Deadpool shirt that you're wearing. Which one did you prefer, the first one or the second one?
God, I kind of want to watch both of them, like watch the first one and then go into the theater and watch the second one. But I do think I like the second one as well. I think the thing I like about the second one that we talked about earlier is that there wasn't just one villain. Like in the first one, you just had Francis, and he just wanted to kill Francis the whole time. I think this one, it just mixed it up a lot more. I liked it a lot better than that.
Okay, so sorry, I had a big jump in the questions. I thought we were almost done the questions. Turned out we're not even halfway through. Okay. And by the way, guys, I am going to have to do a follow-up video to this. Just don't worry. It's not going to be like Avengers Infinity War where I had to do 6 parts. It will just be one thing. So we're not going to be able to get through all this kind of stuff because we have a lot of work we have to do here today. Let's see. We're up to Dakota Barber, who writes, Dopinder wanting to be an assassin was great. Again, just another reason why I love Dopinder so much in this. And his desire, I want to be a contract killer. I mean, was just so great. And the scene when, first of all, Cable says, can you please turn off the music? And Deadpool acts as if that was a racist thing to do. And he starts just petting Dopinder's. If you watch that, the entire rest of that conversation, Deadpool keeps is still just petting Dopinder. Yeah. Like a little pet. It was great.
And then the scene, after, I think shortly after that, when they're all running to start fighting and Dopinder's still there.
Oh, and he's
But then he sees Juggernaut and he's like, I think I'm going to go back to the car now.
After Juggernaut says, I'm going to take the cab driver and shove him up your ass. I'm going to go back to the car. I could watch a Dopinder spin-off movie, by the way. Act Naturally Productions writes, John, I'm fine. But you know what fine means, Act Naturally. Fucked up, insecure, needy, and I can't remember what the E stood for.
Emotional?
And emotional. Yeah. And then he forgets his line. I didn't understand what was going on. He goes, you know what it says in, and then he freezes. And then Ryan Reynolds says his line. Then he goes on. He goes, geez, man, no more speaking lines for you. So well set up. Such a great...
Do you think that was actually written in the script, or they just kept an actual flub in the movie?
I think it was written in the script.
Okay.
Yeah, it was too perfect.
I like to think that it was just a flub, and they were like, that's great, leave it in, because we break the fourth wall all the time anyway, right?
Let's see. Act Naturally Productions writes, so is Vanessa alive? Again, with the Vanessa thing. Is Vanessa alive now? And Peter, for that matter. It was nice seeing him bring her back, but if she's alive again, what was the point of the film? Well, the point of the film, remember, the death of Vanessa, that's not what the movie was about. The death of Vanessa was the spark point to motivate Wade to do all the things he did after that, but it was only the motivating point. The point of the movie wasn't the death of Vanessa. The death of Vanessa was just that thing that kind of thrust him in the direction that he went in. So it doesn't undo that at all, if she's still alive, which we don't know. But if she is still alive, like if they did the timeline reset and she is alive again, then it doesn't undo the meaning of the film, because the meaning of the film wasn't her death. That was just kind of the spark that set him off in a certain direction. But it was all about, realizing there's more than him, saving the kid, finding a place of belonging with other people, all that kind of stuff. That's what the movie was about. And so I don't think the death of Vanessa undoes any of that. Hector Jetter writes, Fox misled us by thinking the X-Force was going to be a big part of the movie, and they pretty much all died. Wasn't expecting that and nearly died laughing at the whole scene. Vanisher was great. I mean, we were talking about that. Again, the whole thing about them using their marketing as a setup to the gag. I've never seen a movie do that before. And I know I emphasized it a little bit earlier, but seriously, I'm still kind of floored by it. The fact that they use their trailers, they use the marketing that they pitch to us as a misdirect to set up a gag in the film. I have never seen that done. I would love to, if you guys can think of other examples of when it's been done before, because maybe it has been done. I just can't think of it off the top of my head, which is part of the reason why it's so brilliant. Honestly, them all dying after jumping out of the plane was funny in and of itself. But what made it excruciatingly funny to me was the fact that I thought for sure they were all going to be in a lot more of the movie because of the marketing. It's what gave that extra punch in the gut. So, Ann, I know you found the scene funny because I saw you laughing at it. Would it have been as funny if the trailers didn't make you think they were going to be in as much, more of the movie?
Okay, so here's the funny thing about me is that I didn't invest myself in the trailers for this movie. So I think I saw one trailer. So I think I said earlier I didn't have expectations for X-Force because I didn't think anything. I didn't have that expectation that you guys had going into it. I think I only saw the first trailer. That was it.
Okay. Cameron Belgrade writes, if you could pull a Deadpool 2 post-credit scene on yourself, What would you change?
Ooh.
Ooh. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I've got a couple things in mind, but I don't want to say them out loud, so I'm going to keep those to myself. None of them have anything to do with you. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, big, tough one. Big, tough one. Okay, never mind.
We'll come back. Another day.
Another day. Something for another. It's a great question, though, Cameron. It's a fantastic question. The ones that are on my mind, I don't want to say out loud, and I can't think of any others to bring up. So, okay. Dylan Robbins writes, "There's no worse killer than Salmonella." Or what does he says? He goes, "I don't know about this Juggernaut fella, but he hasn't killed nearly as many people as what's the skin condition?
Melanoma.
Melanoma, yeah. Salmonella is something that's a food-related thing, by the way. Yeah, I can guarantee he hasn't killed as many people as melanoma. And he's putting such a great Peter thing awesome. To say. Peter was so great. And as little of the film as Sugar Bear was in, as Deadpool kept calling him Sugar Bear, he was hilarious in it. And especially even when Peter, when he's being used as the object of humor instead of him causing the humor. So Deadpool yells out on the plane, "Do you think we just didn't jump out because a little bit of a breeze?" "I'm just yelling to impress the other guys. I'll never let anything happen to you, Sugar Bear." I mean, even then it was glorious. And when he's trying to pull Zeitgeist out of the wood chipper, X-Force, we're X-Force, and he's trying to pull him out. I mean, he was just so good.
Yeah, he was great in the scenes that he was in. He was used perfectly.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's see. D. Duval 59 writes, "I can't believe the writers had never heard of the term fridging when deciding how to write Vanessa out of Deadpool 2. Thought they were more clever than that. Luckily, the rest of the movie was good." I have no idea what you're talking about, D. Do you have any idea what you're talking about?
No, I don't know that term.
I don't know the term either. Yeah, I've never heard the term before, so I don't know what it is we're talking about. Clearly, you didn't like what they did with Vanessa. I did. It caught me off guard. I was expecting her to die, but not that early in the film.
Do you think people are having, issues because we just saw Infinity War where everyone got dusted and now we're seeing Vanessa die in this movie and come back? I don't know. Is it some sort of weird, spillover from, from the deaths that, I don't know. Maybe they're unrelated, but I didn't mind that she died and is potentially alive again. It doesn't bother me.
By the way, nobody's mentioned this yet. The very opening with him cranking up the music box and it's Wolverine on the stick on the tree. That was absolute gold. Okay. Boy Chow Sang writes, "Yes, it's better than Infinity War. I was so happy I saw it." A lot of people aren't going to like this, and that's fine. Infinity War and Deadpool 2 are two very different movies. Completely different movies. But I'll be honest, if I had the choice, say, hey, in 5 minutes I can walk through that door and watch another screening of Infinity War or watch Deadpool 2 again, I'm probably watching Deadpool 2 again. I think I like Deadpool 2 more than Infinity War. I'm not saying which is the better motion picture. I'm just saying, as much as I like Infinity War, I think I like Deadpool 2 a little bit more. I think it is now competing. I still think it's A Quiet Place. But for me, I think Deadpool 2 is now competing with Quiet Place for my number one favorite film of the year so far. I think it's either A Quiet Place or Deadpool 2. So, I know, off the top of your head, where would Deadpool 2 rank for you in your top 5 or 6 movies of the year so far?
Oh, that's hard. I would say it's in the top 3 for sure.
Oh, really? In the top 3?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Let's go on here. Kevin Brown writes, "When Cable and Deadpool talk about saving souls, they missed a perfect Soul Stone joke in there. I think would have been perfect." I think there could have been a thing of overdoing. And to be honest with you, I thought they were already right on the edge of overdoing the amount of MCU jokes because they did the Thanos joke. They did the Hawkeye joke. Mm-hmm. They did the Hulk joke of, "Hey, big guy, the sun's getting really low," which, by the way, that joke was hilarious.
Black Widow.
They did Black Widow. I mean, they already had
Brown Panther.
Brown Panther. That's right. Brown Panther. That was great.
Yeah.
There was already so many MCU references that I think throwing in even more, Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of cool that they didn't go with like more like Soul Stone or any type of Infinity Stone jokes. Or
I think Thanos itself was perfect.
Yeah,
I thought him
yeah.
calling him Thanos that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Michael Solaric writes, best mid-credit scene ever. You're welcome, Canada. Look, I'm telling you, I think it is. Understanding that post and mid-credit scenes are just fun little add-on things. They don't really play. I mean, yes, the Thor Ragnarok post-credit scene showing Thanos' ship shows up, but that doesn't really give you. You didn't need to see that in order to understand what's going on in Avengers: Infinity War. Post-credit scenes are just fun little extra things for fun. On that level, Deadpool 2 is not the greatest comic book movie ever made, but it is the greatest post-credit scenes ever. Post, mid-credit, however you want to define it. I cannot think of a post-credit scenes that I have ever enjoyed more and just loved and heard the audience react to as much. I mean, it was gold. It was absolute gold. Where would it rank for you?
I think it's up there too. I think you particularly like it because he mentions Canada in it. But
Oh, that doesn't hurt. I mean, for me, that absolutely doesn't hurt at all. But of course, the Green Lantern stuff, the Deadpool stuff, it's just...
Wolverine.
And, we're definitely naming our kids Cher. I mean, that was fun. Let's see. Nothing Here writes, my favorite moment is everything. It's a great movie, man. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Kick It to the King Productions writes, didn't know that Deadpool 2 was set in the 1980s because X-Men Apocalypse / Dark Phoenix cast is in the film, which is going so much for continuity. Guys, I tell you all the time at Fox, the slogan is continuity schmontinuity. There have been 3 different Colossuses. There have been 3 different Sabretooths. There have been 2 different Calibans. There have been, and not just different actors playing them, like completely different characters. There is no such thing as continuity in these things. There's just not. The sooner we accept that and understand that, the happier we'll all be. But you're absolutely right. That, because like you mentioned, somebody else brought that up. The cast, wait, that's the cast from the 1980s version of X-Men. It's a good observation. All right. Rory Brown writes, hey, John and Ann, how about that TJ Miller Canada joke? It was funny.
Yeah.
It was really funny. Like, the joke itself was funny. And then Deadpool's follow-up, you shut your... was even better. It was a great joke. It was a wonderful joke. We All Got It writes, that Juggernaut versus Colossus fight gave me new life and took me back to my childhood in X-Men comics. But did you notice Brad Pitt was the Vanisher? Yeah, we've been talking about that. The Brad Pitt Vanisher thing, the Matt Damon, Alan Tudyk as the Hicks. Somebody thought the helicopter pilot was Will Smith. I have not seen that officially listed anywhere. I just know there's some people in chat boards saying that.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I certainly didn't see that. I certainly didn't catch that. If that's the case, I don't think that was the case. But there are some people saying that they thought maybe the pilot was Matt Damon or was Will Smith. But
yeah, I have to see it again, and I haven't dug into any of the cameo stuff either. I know some websites have been trying to list all the cameos out.
Right. Okay. Just got a couple of minutes left here, guys. Cedric Mappa writes, I should have brought my white pants. I didn't get that joke. Because, okay, it's a callback to the first one. It goes, that's why red plants, so you can't see the bad guys bleed. This guy should have worn his brown pants, which means crapping himself. I didn't get the joke when he's talking to Juggernaut, I said, that's why I brought my white pants. Or I should have brought my white pants. I didn't get the joke.
I didn't get it either.
So
what
guys
did we miss?
What's that?
I said, what did we miss?
Yeah, what was that one went over my head. So somebody email me, john@thejohncampeashow.com. Email me and put white pants in the subject line and tell me what the joke was. Because I'm just being honest with you, that joke went over my head. I didn't understand what the reference was. Okay, Joe Byram writes, somebody wants a Logan music box now. Oh God, I would love to have that Logan music box. That was brilliant. I mean, and they made that specifically for that joke. I want that so bad now. I would hop on any website that has that Logan thing of him spinning around on the tree music box. I will get that in a heartbeat. Kevin Brown writes, did you see the pics of the surveys I sent you on Twitter? Me and my wife were already hurting from laughing so much. These surveys were another thing to make the entire experience so great. No, Kevin, I don't know what it is you're referring to. I have a lot of people tweeting me a lot of stuff, so you have to be more specific. So unfortunately, I'm not quite sure what it is you're talking about, but I'm sure a lot of other people do. Holy G Bus writes, teabag, more like a sip. That was funny. And another line that I think probably slipped by a lot of people the first time. For those of you who don't know what it was that scene when Wade is growing his legs back. He goes, I'm going to teabag him. And she goes, at this point, it's really more of a sip or something along those lines. What was if you had to think of your funniest or favorite Domino moment in the movie, either a line or a moment in the film, what would you think is your favorite moment with Domino?
Oh, man. I love when they're casting her, when they're casting for the X-Force.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going back and forth and saying, no, lucky is not a superpower. And she's like, but it is. And she's like, no, it's not. Like, yeah, Mario Lopez. Yeah, I think that back and forth between
Mario
them.
Lopez.
Yeah.
I love the line, 'cause it's in the trailer too, when he goes, let's just meet in the middle and say, no, it isn't.
Yeah.
Or when he's talking to her, I think, okay, Domino, use all your imaginary superpowers and just really do it. It's like, yeah, that was a great running gag.
She's so badass in that movie.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah.
Okay, Christopher Benson writes, Anne, I love you. Giovanni, you're okay. Deadpool 2 was hilarious. Ryan Reynolds was born specifically for this role. Zazie Beetz is gorgeous. Well, I mean, yeah, Zazie Beetz is beautiful. But you know, it's funny because I've been saying for the last while, there are 3 actors who I just think were born to play their roles. Like, lots of great actors who give great performances in comic book movies. Chris Evans playing Captain America, on and on and on. But there are 3 actors who I just feel like were just born to play their roles. Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, and Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I mean, look, I said this before, I will say it again. Another actor could have played Deadpool, and maybe even made a movie that's just as good. Maybe. But no other actor could have given us this Deadpool. Mm-hmm. Ryan Reynolds has infused so much of his own personality and so much of his own wit and humor into this perfect incarnation of Deadpool at the same time that no one else could have given us this Deadpool, you know? And I just kind of feel like he was just born to play this character. I don't know that he is an amazing actor. Should have been nominated for an Academy Award for Buried. But I don't know that I've ever enjoyed him as much in a role as I do watching him play Wade Wilson. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, let's just take 2 more here and then we will call it a day. And don't worry, guys, for all of you who have sent in, oh, my glasses keep fogging up now. For all of you who have sent in questions, don't worry. I will do a companion follow-up just for this one. I'll get them all knocked out. I won't do it in 5 or 6 parts. I'll do it in 1 part. Don't worry. We'll get that all done. Darth Wayne writes, it was confirmed Hugh Jackman was archive footage. Okay, yeah, so that was confirmed, and you could clearly see it. I mean, that was not today's modern Hugh Jackman. It was clearly lifted directly from the movie, so yeah, no big surprise there. But thanks for pointing that out, Darth Wayne. That's helpful. Technovine writes, Juggernaut played himself. Mystery actor John? Did they list Juggernaut in the credits?
As himself.
They did?
Yeah.
I totally missed that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I heard it's actually motion captured by the director David Leitch and Ryan Reynolds.
Oh.
And I think they both did the voice as well.
Oh, really?
I could be wrong, but I think I remember reading that those 2 guys did it.
Okay.
But I totally missed in the credits that it said that he played himself.
Yep.
Okay, that's gold. That's absolutely awesome. Okay, final question today, guys. And then we will wrap this up. And again, I will put up a companion video in the next 48 hours, getting to all the rest of the stuff here. Act Naturally Productions writes, I did read the credits, or did I read the credits correctly? It said the voice of Juggernaut himself. Okay, so exact same thing as the previous person said. Apparently that is what was in the credits, but I believe I heard that Ryan Reynolds and the director both did the motion capture, I think, and the voice. I'll have to double check that, just to be sure. Just a couple of quick other ones here, though. Florian Stump writes, baby legs, I'm dying. That was stupid funny. Stupid funny. Derek Wooden writes, How did they hold Juggernaut? Never saw necklace. I have no idea what it is they're talking about.
No.
Arturo de la Isla writes, welcome to the big league, kid. One of the great post-credit scene parts. All right, guys, that will do it for this open spoiler discussion of Deadpool 2. Thanks for being here and participating with us on this. Anne, where can people find you online if they want to follow you online?
You can find me by my name, at Ann Campea. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Bye, way.
Bye, Yukio. And of course, you guys can follow me on Twitter, simply at John Campea. Hey, listen, do me a favor, guys. If you haven't done so already, make sure you click on that subscribe button, become a subscriber to the YouTube channel, and also click that notification button to make sure you get all the notifications about when new things are going up. Okay, we got companion videos to come. Tomorrow morning, we get the return of the John Campea Show in the morning. Open mics in the afternoon. Lots of good stuff coming. Don't forget, guys, next Sunday at 2 p.m., we've got our Star Wars Solo open spoiler discussion format. Make sure you come back and join us for that as well. All right, guys, that'll do it for me. Thanks again to Ann Campea for being here. And thank you for joining us. My name's John Campea, and until the next video, bye-bye.